Going to try to make a short video. I always say short, but they end up turning longer because I kind of ramble on trying to work on that. But I did 2 videos on this Safety Kleen / System 1 parts washer that recycles the fluid on its own through a distillation process. In those videos, one of them, a guy way more knowledgeable than myself commented on a detailed cleaning process, a little more in depth than what I had. And I made these videos because there isn't really a lot of information out there on these because they're not really made for the general public, and most of the big factories that have them, or companies, they have a program where Safety Kleen comes in, cleans them, and maintenances them for themselves, and they don't have to even worry about them. So I started this morning to go through the process that the guy in the comments, and I'll try to link to that. I'm not sure how to link yet, but we'll figure that one out together, I guess. I'm going to try to go through the process that he said, and what it entails is in my instructions that I have for recycling this, and this is the instructions from System 1, which is either who makes, I believe System 1 made these for Safety Kleen or vice versa. I'm not exactly sure all the details, but they are essentially one in the same machine from my understanding. So the instructions say, wait until the system completes the recycling process, cools down, and the temperature indicator turns green. Unscrew counterclockwise and remove the discharge knob. So that would be this. Oop. I moved both of them. I loosened them up. That would be this knob. This is your normal draining process. And I believe the guy in the comments, and I'd have to go back and check, said about a gallon should come out. Now, System 1 says the amount of residue accumulation will vary with the usage of the machine. Under normal conditions, the residue should be drained on a weekly basis and should expect 2 to 3 quarts of fluid. If more fluid is removed, the frequency draining interval should be increased. If only a small amount of fluid is removed, you should decrease the frequency during intervals to allow more residue to accumulate. So, it's about right, half a gallon, 2 to 3 quarts, half a gallon to 3/4 of a gallon. So, we're about in the same ballpark. And the other thing that he mentioned was my system only holds, I believe he said 23 gallons because I said 34. And looking at the specs from System 1, a Model 300, which I don't believe this is, holds 19 gallons in the reservoir capacity and 3 gallons in a sink. I believe this is a Model 500, just going off the dimensions. And that says it holds 29 gallons in a reservoir capacity and 5 gallons in a sink capacity. So I'll look into that more, but I can tell you that I started off with 10 gallons just hoping to get by because it's $50 a gallon and up. And I just wanted to use the machine. I don't need that much capacity. I'm not going to be going through it like an industrial shop. So I was hoping to get by on just $100 of fluid, 110, whatever it was. That didn't work. It did basically nothing. Would not refill when I hit the recycle button. So, like I mentioned in my other videos, I kept adding, and I'm up to 30 gallons right now. So, that is $300, $300 plus in fluid, and it still doesn't fill up the sink like it should when you hit the recycle. So, going off of that, I do believe mine holds the 34 gallons that I mentioned, but I'm going to pick up another 5-gallon jug, which would be 35 gallons, put in 3-4 gallons, and see where that gets me. And if it fills up automatically, I'll know it is a 34-gallon capacity. But it's more than 23 because it just doesn't operate how it should on 23, unless something isn't working internally. But it was working when I got it as far as draining the sink and then refilling it. And then once I sucked all the bad fluid out and put new fluid in and have been trying to fill it up, it has not operated as it should, where it should. System 1 says you should be able to hit the recycle button, and within 4 minutes the sink will be filled up with fresh fluid, clean fluid, and be able to run. Mine does not do that. So something's going on. We'll look into that later, but I want to make this video for this purpose of showing in-depth cleaning, thanks to the comments on my other video. So once you get the small bung out, the fluid will drain. I already did that. And then I took this big bung out. Now, it has 2 holes here for a pin wrench, spanner pin wrench. I didn't have one. I thought I did. I couldn't find it. But I just use the pliers on here, a good pliers, try not to mar it up. And I'll have to get a pin wrench to service this in the future. So there's the big bung. Seal with an O-ring. I'm probably going to replace those because who knows when the time was that they did. Now is the fun part, it looks like. And this, the other day, I took a Mighty Vac air-powered suction thing, you want to call it, for sucking oil out of engines. Oh boy, this is going to get fun. And I stuck it in a small bung as much as I could. Hold on, we're going to go for a ride. So, here's a hole. And I got as much out as I could with that. But as you can see, there is a good, solid inch or so of crap in there. So there's the heating tubes, you can kind of see. You can see just barely sticking out that round tube. Part of it is clean. I'm going to keep going at this. I'm going to use my Mighty Vac suction and see what I can come up with to get this sludge out of here, because this is nasty, and kind of looks like there's a drain hole way in the back there. Hopefully the sludge hasn't gone down in there. So I'm not going to show that whole process. I'll grab my Mighty Vac just so you can see what I'm using. The guy in the video mentioned taking a wire in a fork shape to get in there and go around the heating elements, and I'll probably come up with something like that. But here's my Mighty Vac, and hopefully, I know it's a huge, I'm zoomed in. Well, I'm not zoomed in, just the camera's close. Mighty Vac model MV7300. So just hook air up down here, flip the switch, and it's a Venturi type setup. You put a little plug in there with a hose, and it sucks it out. So I'm just going to be sticking the hose in there over and over again, flushing it out. I'll probably run some fluid through something just to get it out, and we'll go from there. But I'm not going to show you that whole process. It's going to be pretty boring, but hopefully I can get this clean and back operating again to normal, how it normally should be. And thanks for watching.